Okay, welcome back to Principles of Accounting 2. I'm still your host, Dr. B, at least for another few days. We've made it to the end of the course. I first and foremost want to start off by saying thank you to all of you for an absolutely wonderful semester together. It's been a journey, to say the least. We've gone through 15, 16 weeks worth of information. You had an opportunity to learn a lot about how accounting works from a managerial perspective. We talked a lot about cost, the types of costs that go into making a product. We talked a lot about processes and cost behavior, budgeting, all of those really important things. But in addition to all of those really important accounting things, you also learned about QuickBooks, which, as you know, is a software used by a lot of businesses here in the United States and around the world. QuickBooks is essentially a database for managing accounting information for a company in a very simple sense. But even more so than that, it's a tool that not only accountants use, but also small business owners, medium-sized business owners, businesses across the entire spectrum, whether it's a sole proprietorship, a partnership, an LLC, an S Corp, a C Corp, or anything in between. You found that accounting software like QuickBooks is extremely important. And hopefully, you'll remember some of that, which is why we went through all of those awesome LinkedIn Learning certificates. Now, if memory serves me right, you had quite a few LinkedIn Learning certificates. I think we started in the very beginning with Online Essentials. That was back in week 1. So that's one certificate. And then time went on. We did a whole lot of other stuff. And then you went and you had another one on tips and tricks using QuickBooks. And then you had another one, QuickBooks Pro 2021. And then I think we had one final one, and where was that? That was, I think it was on managerial accounting, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, here it is. Cost-based pricing strategy. So you went through a lot, right? A lot of awesome LinkedIn Learning certificates that you are going to take with you even after this course. They're on your LinkedIn Learning profile now, hopefully. And the great thing with that is that you can showcase those to employers, future employers, your current employer, right? The idea behind those certificates is that they are designed to prove to both you and to employers that you learn those skills. That's why I embedded those into this course, because I wanted you to take something with you beyond what you remember from the course, right? That's the whole idea, is I'm here to help you to improve yourself professionally, personally, whatever it is. That's been my objective since we first met back in Principles of Accounting 1 for some of you, or some of you it was this course. But the whole idea behind the approach in this course is that I wanted to find ways to improve your life. And hopefully I've done that by not only through these LinkedIn Learning certificates, but also other skills that you developed over the past 15 weeks. So, having said all that, I want to say thank you. You've all been phenomenal throughout this entire 15 weeks. I can't emphasize that enough. This is probably one of the best Principles of Accounting 2 courses I've ever taught. And the reason for that is because of the effort that you all put into this course. Every single week you had multiple things to do and you were on top of it. And not only were you on top of it, you did real well, by the way. So thank you. It means a lot to me and hopefully it means a lot to you. So as you move forward with the rest of your degree, some of you are graduating this semester, so congratulations on that. Some of you are still moving forward, finishing up the degree. No matter what path you take in life, I want you to remember a couple of things. The skills that you develop in these courses are skills that you'll carry with you. You may not use them right away. Some of you are like, oh, Dr. B, I'm never going to use QuickBooks. I'm never going to use accounting. You think that now, but I promise you someday you will. I look back at my life and I didn't think I was going to either. There I am teaching it. You see what I'm saying? Sometimes a life path is not always defined. We find new avenues. And when you go down those new avenues, you find that, oh, that guy, Dr. B, he taught me some things. And now here you are trying to remember them, right? It was the same thing that happened to me when I opened my own business. I didn't think that was ever going to happen. That wasn't a part of the plan, but it happened. You see what I'm saying? Sometimes life throws you a curveball and you work with it. You know what I mean? So, just some food for thought. So, as you move forward, I want you to remember these things, okay? And the other thing is, I want you to stay in touch with me. You know, connect with me through LinkedIn. Um, email me every so often. I want to know how you're doing. You know, all of the good things, right? So, and if you ever need anything, if you're like, oh, I worked real close with Dr. B, you could ask me for a reference. Okay, you need a reference for whether it's a job or whatever, you know, ask me for a reference. You need a reference letter, you need a letter of recommendation, whatever. Okay, I want you to remember that you can count on reaching out to me and I'll respond. Okay. Uh, yeah. So keep that in mind as well. Okay. Now that I've gotten off that soapbox of reminding you what happened over the past 15 weeks, let's talk about the last 4 days of this course. Remember, this course ends on April 26th, which is this Friday. Not Sunday, not Saturday, but this Friday. Okay, that's in a few days from now. Today's 22, tomorrow's 23, 24, 25, and then 26 is on Friday. So what that means is you have 2 action items to complete for me by this Friday. One of those being the final exam. I'm going to come down to this week. Okay. One of those being the final exam, and the other one being the QuickBooks, um, report. I'm going to talk about both of these things over the next 15 minutes to help to bring clarity to you on what it is that you need to do to be successful at both the final exam and the QuickBooks report. So let's start with the QuickBooks report since it's in that order, okay? Looking at the QuickBooks report, open it up, week 15. You can look at the week at a glance. There's not much there. Just real simple, right? Open up the action and expression and then click on the QuickBooks Learning Summary Report. Let me go into the student view just to show you exactly what it looks like on your end, and also, hopefully that'll help to visualize it for you. Because I know some time ago Oscar had mentioned, oh, I couldn't see it from, remember? I couldn't see it from the view you're showing me. So let me show you from your view. So you open it up, it looks like this. Click on Start Attempt. Don't worry, it doesn't submit anything right away. Go ahead and just click on Start Attempt. All right, that's how it opens up. And once you click on Start Attempt, that's where you're going to see the instructions for this report. You'll notice for this report, there are 10 components that you must have. An introduction section, an overview of QuickBooks, practical experience, key functions and tools, challenges faced, benefits and advantages, a case study or an example, future application of the software, conclusion, and then references. We're looking at about probably 2-3 pages roughly. Yeah, it should be about a paragraph, meaning 5-6 sentences for each of these areas, roughly. Okay, sometimes more, right? More is best. Okay, more is good. Yeah. A couple of ways to help you to format the paper. And for those of you who already submitted, don't worry about this, okay? I don't want you to, I'm not going to penalize you because you don't have the sections. Don't worry about that. Because I'm going to read your whole paper. You know what I mean? I'm just thinking about a way to help you to organize your thoughts when you're looking at a blank piece of paper like this, okay? So you open up Microsoft Word. One of the best ways to do this is I would go ahead and, copy each section in, or even faster, go ahead and do this. Copy those instructions in to Microsoft Word. All right. And you can, if you want to format it double spaced, single spaced, I don't care. Whatever works best for you. All right. I'm not going to penalize you if something doesn't look right. You know what I mean? So here we go. For me, the way I write academically, because a lot of my professors required it this way, what I would do is I would do APA style. You don't have to again, but if you want to, that's fine. I'd write it in double space, you know. You'll notice that I have the sections. Just go ahead and remove those parts, you see what I'm saying? Like this. And what this is doing is it's providing you with, what do you call like a guide, like a guide. You see what I'm doing here, right? I'm taking out the part of the instructions, but I'm leaving the guide. So with the guide, the way I do this, and this is just me, okay? You can do it however you like. But what this is doing is it's providing me with a guideline on writing. So my introduction, tab in, or you can even bold these, to make it like subheadings. Yeah, subheadings. I think that's what they call them. You'll have your title here at the top. Title. You'll have your name, the date, etc. Whatever. You can have a title page if you want to. That's fine. However you see fit. All right. But make sure you have your name at least, please. Uh, but you see what I'm doing here. It's just a way to help you to keep your thoughts organized on paper. All right. So you'll write out a paragraph for each of these subheadings, categories, whatever you want to call them. And at the end, you'll have your references. Your references should be ideally on a separate page. All right. And on your separate page, you're going to write your references. Your reference, ideally, should be in APA format. Now, you'll notice is that it says if you use any external resources or references in your report, provide proper citation. The idea here is that you learned this information from somewhere. I know that you did because Not everyone came to this course knowing QuickBooks already. All right. So, having said that, you're going to want to have some references. Those references could be referencing the QuickBooks website. It could be referencing the LinkedIn Learning certificates. It could be referencing other websites where you found this information to help you to learn it. You see what I'm saying? So ideally, you should have a few references. Uh, and notice, if you can, I'd like them to be in APA format. And you might be like, Dr. B, I don't know how to write or reference in APA format. That's okay. All right. I would never penalize you for anything, you know. So you go to your search bar, you go APA, citations and references. And you know this new AI tool and pretty much everything, right? So you see Copilot here on the right side typing out formatting instructions for APA style writing. There's a couple of things you can do to get your references into APA style. You can use something like Purdue OWL, which is kind of like an expert website on citations references. You can use Grammarly. You can use, I don't know what that other one is. You can use apastyle.org, which is APA's website. So this manual teaches you how to format in APA style. And you'll notice that there's examples, and the examples for online media. And then we go web page or website. And it shows you examples of what the format should look like. Okay. Now, as you're doing this, there's also websites that'll do it for you. Okay. Uh, or if you want to use something like ChatGPT to write the reference, you can do that as well. So, for example, if I go to ChatGPT and I say something to the effect of write an APA style reference for QuickBooks online website use. And you'll see the example, right? So whatever works for you, okay? So it's totally up to you, however you want to use your references. But please, let's get a couple of references on it, all right? Any questions, comments, concerns? We're doing all right so far.
No, no question.
Okay. All right, Crystal, thank you. Okay, so that's the approach that I would use for writing the paper. Again, the paper doesn't have to be that long, you know, a couple pages, right? So that's my recommendation. Okay, so that's the paper. Let's move on to the final exam. Now, of course, you'll submit it just like you've done with the certificates, yeah? Same way. Then we move on to final exam. Here we are, the final exam. Coming on the final exam, click on final exam. You'll notice it says out of 125 points. Now, if you've been keeping track at all on the points, the paper that we just looked at is 100 points. The final exam is 125 points. The whole class is out of 1,000 points. So that means if you don't do the paper, you automatically drop a full letter grade. You lost 100 points by not doing it, right? If you don't do the final exam, you lose 125 points. That's a letter grade as well. Letter grade and a quarter, actually. So obviously you need to do both of these in order to pass this course. The final exam is worth 125 points. That's 12.5% of your total grade, just to give you an idea. So the great thing is, the way that the final exam is set up is, when you click start the attempt, it's out of 25, it's total of 25 questions. You'll notice a couple of key things. There is no timer. I don't like timers, they give me anxiety. And I'm sure they do for you as well. Timed exams are scary stuff. I don't like to be scared. All right. It's 25 questions in length. Not too long. Each question is worth 5 points. That's kind of a lot. All right. So you don't want to miss too many questions. You can miss a few, but don't miss too many. You can save and close it. So you can come answer a question, be like, I think that's correct. You could come and answer the first 5 questions, you know. Obviously, I'm totally guessing. I'm not even looking at anything. It's definitely not C. Don't be recording those things, okay? And click Save and Close. Right? Answer 5 questions, take a break. Answer 5 questions, take a break. Keep life easy. You can save and close. And then you just, when you're ready to come back, you come back, continue attempt. And to see it saves the 5 questions. Obviously, I don't want you to don't do that. All right, don't do that. Once you click submit, it submits it. Okay. So those are the features of the exam. Now let's talk about the questions. On the exam, it's 25 questions. I'm gonna exit this, okay? Don't worry, I'll come back to it. I'll go back into student preview because I want you to see this. On the exam, there's 25 questions. I want you to think back to the midterm. I know that was a long time ago. It's like 8 weeks ago, okay? I think 2 months ago. 2 months ago, you took the midterm exam. On the midterm exam, we covered chapters, I forget what chapter this was. We covered chapters, wasn't a chapter, was it? We covered chapters, I'll get there, don't worry. I think we started with 16, no, 17. Was it 17? I thought it was 16. That must have been 17. Okay, we started with chapter 17, and the final exam covered chapters 17, 18, 19, 20, and 21 on the midterm exam. So the midterm exam covered chapters 17, 18, 19, 20, and 21. That was the midterm 8 weeks ago. Now here we are 8 weeks later, and we covered another 5 chapters during that time. We covered chapters 22, 23, 24, 25, and 26, right? So in thinking about that, the final exam is going to cover chapters 22, 23, 24, 25, and 26. Here's my tips and recommendations for success on the final exam. Go back to chapter 22, which was on budgeting in week 10. And in week 10, under instructional materials, you're going to find the chapter 22 PowerPoint on budgeting. And you'll remember some conversations about budgeting, and you'll have access to your textbook, and you're going to notice a couple of really important things in the PowerPoint slides and also in the textbook under chapter 22. And you'll come and read through, and these formulas are going to be important. And the examples are going to be important that we talked about in chapter 22. So once you've opened up chapter 22, you come back to your exam. You can even do it in multiple tabs or whatever works for you, okay? Open up your exam, separate tab, see if it'll do it. No, it doesn't like that. Doesn't want to do a separate tab. So open up your exam. And you'll notice question 1 says a company budgets production. So we're talking about the production budget. 15,000 units in July. Each unit requires 4 hours of direct labor at a rate of $20 per hour. The cost of direct labor for July is. This is a pretty simple math question. Okay. 15,000 units. Each unit requires 4 hours. 15,000 times 4. That's part 1. Okay. That'll give you the total number of hours. Multiply that by $20. That'll give you the total cost. Pretty straightforward. So question 1, look at question 2. Key word here. I'm preparing a master budget. That's chapter 22, master budgeting. Remember? Question 3, the cash budget. That's chapter 22. This is where the examples come in handy, right? If you go to the, let me just see if I can open up the PowerPoint. Just want to show you side by side what I'm talking about, so that way it'll keep it easy for you. Okay, hold on just a sec. Let me pull up the PowerPoint for chapter 22. Okay, so here's the PowerPoint. I'm going to do side by side if it'll let me do it. Okay, so here we are side by side on the screen. Question 1, that's labor budget, direct labor budget. You know how to do that. That one's easy. Okay, direct labor budget, boom. There's your example. Very straightforward. Okay, you follow them steps, you can answer question 1 easily. Question 2, master budget for the first quarter. Read the whole question. Company budgets, production, 3,020 units, January, then February, then March. Okay. Each unit requires 0.6 hours of direct labor at a rate of $13 per hour. Compute the budgeted direct labor cost for the first quarter. That follows this exact example on this slide, direct labor budget. Okay, so question 2, direct labor budget, chapter 22. All you do is follow those 3 steps. You got it. Yeah. Question 3, the cash budget. So that's right there, what I'm looking for. So I come down in my PowerPoint slide, the cash budget. There we go. Cash budget. Here's my formula for the cash budget. Company has 25,000 in beginning of June, anticipates 95,000 receipts, and 111,000 cash payments month of June. You see where we're going with this. You're just following that formula. And then, of course, the example on the following slide to help you answer question 3. Question 4. Company sells product Sales expected, blah, blah, blah. This is again looking at the cash budget. Remember, and this part's talking about receipts, timing of receipts. How do I know? Because it's talking about the months, and we're talking about growth, and we're talking about receipts and sales dollars. Compute the budget cash receipts. So that's going to be this slide, chapter 22. Question 5. Use the following information to determine the ending cash balance. Okay, this one might be a little trickier. For this one, I personally like this particular slide on preparing the cash budget. All you're going to do is align these with what you find here. Okay. Now remember, some of these are not cash, right? Well, one of these is not cash. It's not a cash item. Don't pay depreciation expense. Keep that in mind. Okay, so the questions 1 through 5 is on chapter 22. Which simply means questions 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10, those are going to be on chapter 23. Flexible budget. There, look, it even tells you, flexible budget. Looking for the keywords is super critical. Tells you where to find the respective answer. 40,000 units, showed variable overhead of 44, fixed overhead of 56, company incurred overhead costs of 90 and change, while operating volume is at 32,000. The total controllable cost variance. So you come to your PowerPoint slide, you look for controllable cost variance. But first you need to remember how to compute those cost variances, right? Remember the word controllable cost. Controllable means within management's control. Overheads get a pretty challenging thing for overhead to be in management's control, right? But we talked about that. Question 7, flexible budget. Again, chapter 23. Chapter 8, flexible budget. Chapter 23. Question 9. Question 9 is predicted production. Also chapter 23, but notice it says predicted production. Okay. When we're talking about those, we're talking about estimates. And you're going to find that predicted production. Remember when we talked about those scales, right? Production, that'd be volume variance. And then question 10 is direct materials cost variance. That's all chapter 23. Question 11. Guess what? Chapter 24. Question 11. We're talking about units of production, performance management, a division. Remember the division stuff. Talked about the performance centers, the divisions. I think we're further down. But this is question 11 is chapter 24. Yeah. Question 12. Again, chapter 24. We're talking about two different products here. Oh yeah, this is the further production question. This one happens to do with the further refinement of a chemical. And I know that there was an example in that chapter somewhere about the further processing, I forget exactly where, but it's in there. The further processing. Uh, that's the department one. But you remember what I'm talking about. Question 12 is for the processing for joint costs. I think it was looking at joint costs, wasn't I? That's transfer pricing. There it is. On value base. So question 12, slide 37, chapter 24. Question 13, division sales. So that's going to be way up here when we talked about the different departments. That'll help you answer question 13. 14, conversion. This is the further processing. Question 14. Somewhere around there. And question 15, controllable costs by department. Actually, it's very similar to the example. So questions 11, 12, 13, 14, and 15 are going to come from chapter 24. Which means 25 is going to cover questions 16, 17, 18, 19, and 20. Talking about incremental, make or buy. We're going through those decision-making processes in those questions. So I would strongly encourage you to look at the PowerPoint presentation and the examples, especially for chapter 25. And then lastly, chapter 26, the one we talked about last week, capital budgeting, investment analysis, covers questions 21, 22, 23, 24, and 25. You'll notice that question 21, we're looking at the accounting rate of return. So you need to know that formula, which we've talked about that one. Accounting rate of return is right here, slide 12. There's the formula. You're going to just pump the numbers in, okay? Question 22, the project's payback period. One of my favorite and very important things to look at, payback period. Payback period formula is right here, so you'll plug those numbers in. And of course, look at the examples, yeah. Question 23, we are looking at the present value factors. The nice thing is the data is given to you there, so we're looking at present value for formula for this one, not present value. And this one, I believe, is with equal, no, it's not equal. It's unequal cash flows, so this is going to be uneven cash flows, which is here. And question 24 is we're looking for the internal rate of return, which is going to be right here. This is going to be your formula for internal rate of return. Follow these two steps, yeah. 3 steps, actually. No, 2, with you. And then question 25, internal rate of return and hurdle rate, deciding whether to accept or reject the project. And I think we looked at that And that's question 25. So, my recommendation, answer 5 questions at a time. Open up the PowerPoint for those respective questions. Look at your notes, look at the book, look at the PowerPoint presentations, answer those 5 questions, save and close, open up the next PowerPoint, answer those 5 questions, save and close. You see what we're doing here? It's a process. And so as long as you go in that process and in that order, you should do pretty awesome at this final exam. Uh, uh, um, so far, I'm happy to report that 3 of you have already taken the final exam and done very well on it. So thank you for that. But overall, we're doing very, very well. So that is my presentation on the final exam and on the report. Are there any questions about the final exam or the report? Are we okay? We're feeling good, feeling confident. Some of you might be taking it right now. I don't. Are we okay?
Yes.
Okay, thank you, Ashanti. Sometimes, I don't know if I'm on mute the whole time. So it's happened once to me before. I taught a whole class on mute. Awesome, thank you. Yeah, you know, technology. Sometimes it gets me. Okay, are there any comments, questions, or concerns about anything that you've experienced over these past 15 weeks?
I just want to say thank you, Professor, as always. Great job. I've learned some things that I can use in my work life now.
Hmm. Well, that's good to know. Hopefully with those skill sets that you're going to be using with work now, I mean that's great. Hopefully that leads to brighter future as well. Talking a
Hope so.
little bit more revenue coming in, a little bit more, personal and professional growth opportunities, that kind of stuff. You'll get it. I'm sure of it. That's awesome. Very cool. It's good to hear. Thank you so much for saying that. Okay, this is your time now. If there's anything else, any burning questions, comments, or concerns, anything.
Just thank you. You have been a fantastic professor.
Thanks, Dom. I appreciate you saying that. Yeah, that's why I do what I do. I enjoy what I do, and hopefully that shows. So awesome.
It definitely does.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. Very cool. Okay, well, remember, by Friday, not Sunday, Friday. By Friday, I need you to complete the final exam and the report. Um, and then if you're a little bit late with, some stuff that happened this past week, just make sure we get everything done. Because here's the thing, I cannot accept anything past this Friday. I just can't. Okay, that's the university policy. Course ends, that's it. No more submitted work. I can't do anything past the course end. So Friday, must complete the final exam, the report, and anything else. After Friday, I can't accept it. Okay, so just keep that in mind. If you need any help with anything along the way, you can email me, call me, set up office hours, whatever. I'll be available until Friday. Okay. So after Friday, I'm gonna be away. I'm gonna be traveling. Okay. So I'm gonna be hard to get a hold of. So Friday. Let's make sure that all this stuff is completed by the end of Friday. Yes.
Professor, when you putting the grades in?
Your final grades will be uploaded on Saturday. If it's if I have any power over this, it'll be up by Saturday. Because I know that there's there's a few of you that are graduating, and so I must have your
Yeah.
final grades in this weekend. Yeah. So Saturday
Okay.
morning,
Thank
I would expect your grade to be up.
you. Okay.
Yeah. Thanks for that question. Yeah. So that's the plan. So let's finish strong. We got 4 days left. Let's make this happen. Okay. If you need anything, email me, call me, set up office hours up until Friday night. After that, obviously, I wish you all the best. Stay in touch. I know you'll all do well. So I look forward to staying in touch with you after this course. Thank you all so much for everything. Thanks for an awesome, wonderful semester. Sincerely appreciate all of you, all of your work that you've been doing. It means a lot to me and hopefully it means a lot to you. So thanks again for everything. Appreciate all of you. Have a wonderful rest of your night. Take care.
Thank you,
Thank you.
Professor.
Have a good night.
Thank you.
Professor, as well for you.
It's been my pleasure.
Bye bye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Appreciate all of you.
Thank you, Professor. You've been a quiet professor the whole semester.
Thank you, Oscar. I appreciate you saying that. It's my
All
pleasure.
right.
Thank you.
All right.
Take care. Bye bye.
Bye bye.